Fake Gamers Episode 1, pilot episode. A casual gamer's view on what matters to you. I'm Huey, and I have here with me, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Starting with
Chris.
One of you.
Go for it.
I'm Chris Kidney. I like games, and I am in
Fascinating.
school for game design and programming currently.
Oh.
I'm the second Chris out of all two of us, and I am doing the same thing, kind of programming mainly.
You're
And we,
computer science, right?
Yeah, computer science. Sorry, I was focusing more away from game design, more like programming, but I'd love to do game design.
It's very fun to check it out.
I'm Straw, also known as Big Gina. I am a self-proclaimed chubby chaser.
Always.
I'm not currently going to school for chubby chasing, but it is
On the horizon.
Future dream.
it's a future dream.
You're just looking for the funds and the time. That's all.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm in financial trouble right now, but soon.
And I guess to be a little redundant, I'm Huey. I guess people call me Nick. I don't know who anymore. Pretty much nobody at this point, but Huey and
The unimportant people.
Yeah, the unimportant people. I'm an electrical engineering graduate, and I would like to work my way into game design, but for now it's just the regular stuff.
Basically, we're three programmers and a chubby chaser.
Which we're using to try to program.
We picked the wrong podcast name.
Three programmers and a chubby chaser.
Yeah.
No.
All right, scrap it. We'll call it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Reconvene tomorrow. We'll. So I guess first things first. What do you guys think a casual gamer is? If that's what we're going with initially. Here,
Casual gamer.
Chris Kinney. We'll start with you.
We'll start with me. Well, it really depends on what who you're talking to, I guess, because everyone's gonna have a different opinion on it. Because some people consider a casual gamer someone who doesn't play like Counter-Strike or League of Legends or whatever. But then some people could consider a casual gamer someone who plays those but doesn't play competitively, or someone consider a casual gamer someone who only plays single-player games.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the boat of if you're not playing Counter-Strike's the only example I can think of, but if you're not playing Counter-Strike to get better and that's why you're playing it, I would consider it more of a casual gamer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that there's nothing wrong with it, but
I think there needs to be an intermediate term because there's
yeah, you're
I feel
right.
like
You're
there's
totally
three
right.
stages. There's hardcore, where it's that's almost your job. Like you play so often, it's all you're doing.
That's what you do
And
as your
the
gamer.
opposite end of the spectrum to me is that casual side, and there needs to be that middle section. We're like fake gamers, dude. That's where we fall in.
Yeah, exactly.
We're petitioned to make the middle ground fake gamers.
The way I see it is how involved you are in the community. I feel like a casual gamer is someone that comes home from work and plays Call of Duty, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Wow, someone that's not
I
so
like
much,
that actually.
yeah, someone that's not so much casual is they're going through Reddit, they're looking at what game won these awards and so on and so forth, and they're just involved in a gaming community.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that actually.
Now, what would you say to? I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a part of, let's say, the League of Legends community. I don't participate in any forums. I don't participate in, a lot of things. But occasionally I'll hop on and play a game with my friends. That makes me casual gamer, or that?
I think my view on it is that it has to be it's almost like you can't blanket statement it, you know what I mean? It has to be per game you can be a casual for that game or not, because like you said, I played League once or twice ever. I consider myself a total casual, but I don't consider myself a casual gamer.
I consider you a scrub.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, I mean that's kind of basic. We all know Chris Kidney. Yeah, 'cause-
But
Yeah.
as as a whole, I don't consider myself a casual gamer because that's what I do in my spare time.
yeah, we're
I
just
spend time on the forums and looking up all the new games and that kind of stuff,
maybe that's what it is. Fake
and being a scrub at most of them.
Fake gamers is the belief that we're not casual gamers, but we in fact are casual gamers.
I like that.
Yeah.
A fake casual.
Well, because
We take gaming seriously, but we suck at it.
yeah, I mean, as I understand it, there's, I think this is something that's on, a couple forums is like the three people who you'd find gaming. It's like the power gamer, the diversity gamer, and the like tournament gamer. Like the power gamer is in it to have fun. From what I've read, the tournament gamer is there to win no matter what. Like that's their goal. That's all they have fun doing is winning.
Talking about the Bartle taxonomy of player types. I did a research thing on this for school.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, maybe you know more than me then.
It's basically it's just a way to like categorize different types of people and what they want to get out of a game. He considered it the killer, the socializer, the achiever, and the explorer.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
The killer is
yeah.
like the guy that's like he gets into a game and you want to be like you want to win, you want to dominate people, you want to play against other people, like competitive shooters and stuff are like those kind of people fit that category.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas an explorer is a gamer who likes stuff like open world, like where they can just kind of casually take it at their own pace and like just find things. They're not necessarily in it for like conflict. They're more in it for
They want to see what's out there.
exactly. They're like trying to find new things and solve puzzles and that kind of stuff. The socializers, which is kind of what this podcast is based on, is people who play games to be social with other people. So like you're playing with your friends or you're playing an online game that has a lot of socialization in it, like WoW or something like that. And then they have the achievers who are like achievement hunters kind of deal. Like they're people that want to beat games in a specific way or like get 100% or collect all the things or that kind of stuff. That's his theory on the different player types, and those can be broken into smaller subtypes as well.
Can that be taken outside of video games as well?
Yeah, he uses it. I think it was developed for video games, but it could be used for anything that's related to games or playing something. So sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you could apply it to.
Ooh, the power
So
sports
Those
player.
sound kind of blanket though too, even though, because I'd almost consider myself in that category of somebody who enjoys going and trying to beat everybody else when it comes to like Smash Bros or something. But in other games, it's more about just having fun to me, or like doing the collectathon type of thing.
No,
Like,
exactly, and that's kind of like the problem with it, as people have mentioned. But then I don't think he's like the idea is that like everyone has to fit one specific type. It's more of like what percent of each category is your gaming experience part of, kind of thing.
okay,
Yeah.
I feel you can put games in that category.
Like the type of game, you mean, like the genre of game?
Yes.
Well, hold on. Let me throw
Right.
this at you then. Call of Duty, basically as a whole, there's a competitive MLG scene, but I'd say most of the people going home are just going to, I'm going to throw myself in a team deathmatch and try to win, but like I'm just kind of doing
Should
it to
talk to the other
unwind.
team while doing it. Yeah.
I mean, maybe could sprinkle some in there.
It really depends on the way it works,
All right.
like
Well,
the way it works out.
speaking of like these kind of games, what I guess I'd like to ask what games do we all currently play that we would consider ourselves the killer, the guy who's trying to win all the time, just to break
trying to
the mold.
dominate everyone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at an article for it, and one of the monikers they use is a clubber. So,
Ew.
as in, yeah,
I would say Counter Strike. I mean,
yeah,
my,
Counter Strike's definitely it for me.
my pinky's always on the tab button.
Oh man, gotta see the stats.
Gotta see the stats.
I think that kind of splits us down the middle because I don't want to speak for Chris Connors over there, but I'd say Smash. Smash is
definitely.
like, oh man, I can't.
I mean, I guess I don't really play the Smash, but
I guess
Oh, yeah.
it's like a fighting game though, so if you're not winning, you're inherently losing.
Yeah.
It sucks to be on the losing side.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you always want to be trying to win.
I can't explain the amount of times where I've been like, I am so mad at Chris right now, but it's but it's just like I can't be because afterwards it's just, well, I mean, he beat me at Smash. I'll get him next time.
Okay, use it as a learning experience to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it comes down to like your mindset going into starting to play, because like when I go into a Counter Strike game, I'm there thinking, this is what I fucked up last time. This is how I'm going to do it better this time. This is what's going to make us win this time. I'm like constantly trying to get better as I'm playing and try to win, as opposed to just jumping in and running around and doing like not thinking about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Counter-Strike has a unique thing too. Well, not really unique, obviously, because there's other games that are team-based, but it's less about you almost in that sense, because you have other people who also you expect to be on your level playing the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas
no,
Smash
exactly.
Bros, it's solely you.
It's
And
just you
you're
and the other guy.
responsible if for like messing up. It's like all your fault, or like the other guy's fault if you're beating him, I guess. But
True.
it's I don't know.
Unless
It's
you get into
interesting,
the whole
but-
doubles thing.
Oh yeah, and then doubles is just like I don't know.
Anarchy.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about this whole the Bartle taxonomy of player types thing, like I can also consider myself a socializer for Counter Strike because I almost only
Right.
play with friends. And
Yeah.
that's like why I started playing was because we were all playing together. Then I
Yeah.
got into the other mindset of trying to get better at it.
Yeah, and then yelled at all your friends, and now we all feel bad.
I'm really good. I've
happens.
been good at that lately.
No, that's fair enough. No, I don't know. There's it's so weird. I'm glad there's actually subtypes to that, because there's so many games I'm thinking of right now that are just like I want to not be a casual in, but I have such a hard time being anything but like very casual, because I mean none of us here are getting paid to play video games, much to our chagrin. But
I don't think that's what considered as a casual gamer. Casual gamer is getting paid though.
I mean, okay, yeah, yes and no. I would be on the side that you transcend being a casual gamer when you start getting that paycheck. Just
Really? So you think that only 1% of gamers aren't casual?
the way I see it is that paycheck can be in the form of like tournament play, and that tournament play is like for the money, for like winning a prize and being the best player or players at any specific event. Like you're striving to win and you're striving to get money out of it. I mean, I guess. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no.
Oh, well, sorry. Now everyone's trying to talk, but I was gonna say that Twitch, like, you bring Twitch into it, you can be making money and still be considered a casual gamer.
Soda
you know, you're-
Poppin is a
exactly,
good example of
you
that.
play-
He's a variety streamer, so he plays everything and he's shit
sure.
at everything, but he's
So that's like the
entertaining and he
other
makes money
angle.
off of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
Fair enough.
My thought on it is I wouldn't consider someone who's a hardcore gamer someone who necessarily makes money off it, just someone who has like spends a lot of time playing and like watching gaming stuff
Mhm.
and like being on Reddit, looking at the
Researching.
game Reddits and stuff like that. Exactly. Like someone who makes it part of like a large part of their life, as opposed to someone who, like Straw said, like comes home after work and plays like 4 games of COD and goes to bed and goes back to work
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like that's all they do.
Okay,
I see
fair
it like as in like let's say I play Counter Strike, right? I see a casual Counter Strike player, someone that comes in, plays a few games, maybe plays a lot. Then what separates them from a casual and non-casual is that non-casual, when he stops playing, he'll go watch streams and then he'll go learn smokes, tactics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
everything we
putting
don't
effort
do.
putting effort into whatever game you like
trying
outside
to
of the
get better.
actual game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And even not even like for Counter Strike, yeah, trying to get better makes a lot of sense. But like even for like Zelda or something, like if I play a big long session of Zelda, I like going on the Reddit and seeing what other people are saying about the stuff that I just experienced, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Making it more of
I
a
feel like
community thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, if you're like speedrunning a game, I can't see someone being a casual speedrunner.
Yeah, even if
I
they're not
would
making
say
money
that-
off it,
yeah, I'd
speedrunning is
say-
like the ultimate hardcore gamer. Those guys are crazy, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say it
me and
takes so
Chris
much
have had
dedication.
Me and Chris have had very limited experience in it, but holy hell, it's hard,
Yeah,
and it takes a lot of practice.
a shit ton of practice. And the amount of patience that you have to have for yourself too to learn every little tiny detail. It's like,
And
it's
not
just like a whole
discouraged.
nother thing. Like, yeah.
That's fair. I feel like since we're kind of getting into the realm of other gamers, other classifications of gamers, is one thing I kind of neglected to think about was if people were ever to watch this, this isn't like a podcast on outing other gamers as fake gamers, like Twitch streamers or anything like that. It's kind of something that came across my mind. I went, oh, I hope people aren't coming here to say, oh man, I hope they talk about so and so. I think he's a fake gamer. I think he's Not.
It's more of a meme than anything.
Yeah.
As a name.
Especially
I mean-
because we immediately went to trashing on Soda Poppin.
I wasn't trashing on him.
Okay,
I was
fair
just
enough.
explaining that he's more of in terms of like a competitive player versus a casual player. Like
He's
a
an
hardcore
entertaining
player.
player.
But
True.
on the yeah, exactly. But on the other hand, I hate to use other people as an example like that. But on the other hand, I also consider him. I almost more consider him a hardcore gamer than a casual gamer because that's what he does. Like he plays it all day, every day. Like his life revolves around it.
Okay, fair enough.
It's more about the time spent in game and out of game to me versus you like the way you want to play it in terms of casual and competitive or
Okay.
hardcore, whatever word you want to use.
Fair enough. I was gonna say because all of us, I'm pretty sure, have spent quite a lot of money on peripherals and stuff like that. It's like I would like to consider myself a hardcore gamer, but at the same time, I'm just like I just have this stuff.
And I mean, it's just a name, right? Like it's incredibly subjective,
True.
but like I consider myself hardcore or whatever you want to call it because that's like what I do. That's my hobby. That's like outside of school and work, I'm gaming.
Yeah.
And it depends what perspective you're looking from. I'm sure all of our parents probably think we're like hardcore gamers.
Oh, true.
Oh yeah,
Where
definitely.
we wouldn't see ourselves necessarily as hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
but
That's
they,
a very good point.
You know,
Like
Yeah.
yeah, because compared to someone who doesn't game, then we are the hardest of the hardcore. But compared to speedrunners and pro players and stuff like that, we're as far as you can get from that.
Fair enough.
And also, people in our lives don't know that they're speedrunners.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
was gonna say I don't even know if my dad loved him to death, but I don't know if he knows how to use a computer properly.
Yeah, the last time my dad played a video game was on a Commodore 64 like 30
Yeah.
years ago. So
Well,
Yeah.
my dad's actually the one who gave me my first video game, so kudos to that guy.
Yeah.
yeah, really.
I'm surprised at how accepting a generation older than us, parents, stuff like that, kind of have adapted to the way the world goes. I want to say,
I
which
feel like the money that's coming into it is giving it a lot more validation in the eyes of people who don't understand it.
My
yeah,
parents don't understand the money that's coming into it at all. They know that the video game industry is big, but they don't necessarily know that about streaming and about tournaments and stuff.
I was gonna say I don't think I know a lot of people always talk about, well, a lot of people, I mean the people who have successful careers in streaming, and they talk about how did you tell your parents, how did you, or even professional gamers, how did you tell your parents that is what you're doing and you're trying to be successful at it. It's well, I'm pretty sure if my parents ever heard me say that, they'd be funny joke, haha, are you still at work?
Yeah.
I hope you didn't quit your job.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's something you would have to show them instead of being you'd have to show them proof before you did it. If that makes sense. You couldn't
It's
be
kinda like-
I'm quitting my job to do this professionally. It's well,
Where's
it's
the
not probably
paycheck?
that
Yeah.
good. Exactly.
It's a volatile industry too, because especially with all the YouTube stuff that's been going on. If you watch any YouTubers that are gaming related, especially, they've been getting hit with all the adpocalypse stuff where they're not making any money, and that's causing a lot of issues for people who used to be able to make a perfectly fine living and make companies out of this stuff because they're making so much money, and now it's just kind of out of the blue. It's becoming an issue, right?
Okay,
Okay.
is it becoming an issue because they're making less money or they're not making enough money? That's a big difference.
They're making less money. There's some channels that are starting to go under because they're making almost no money on anything now.
Okay.
The way I understand it is basically when you put up a YouTube video, that first week it's up, that's when you make your money. You make almost no money after that first week. And when they're putting up a video and it gets immediately demonetized, they don't make any money off the first week. So you only get a little bit of trickle afterwards, and they lose basically all the revenue on that video.
Okay.
And it's killing channels pretty quickly.
Now, is this a recent change, the week thing?
It's-
No, a couple months. It's
No,
not just
it's
video
just-
games. It's just it's happening a lot of
It's
people.
happening to a lot of things. When I say the first week they make all their money, it's because
That's when they
the
get
first
most
week
views.
that video's up is when people are gonna see it and watch it. It's
Right.
the internet. A week ago is years ago on the internet time. You know what I mean?
True.
So if you're a YouTuber and you put up a video, that first week is when you make the majority of the money off that video. But if it's demonetized immediately, you're making almost none of the money off the views that you are getting during that week.
Ah,
That
okay.
kind of thing. And
Um,
it's causing a lot of issues for a lot of people.
shifting back a gear, I believe, because we were talking on a lot of the older generation like accepting things. Just because we are kind of a generation that grew up with video games. I know, like, I guess I should speak for myself. When I starting to grow up, I was introduced. Like, I remember playing Double Dragon in my buddy's basement when, like, after soccer games. Yeah, it was the first. I think that was my first introduction to video games at a very young age. So I consider, I guess we're dating ourselves a little bit here, but growing up with that kind of stuff and living in a world where that was developing and seeing it developed, how has that been something that's, I consider it great, but what do you guys think? What, like, did you grow up with a lot of video games around you? Did you grow up with a lot of, like, tech? What do you think?
I know, I'll speak for myself. I know I did. But one thing different about me is that I never grew up in the social gaming aspect. So I never had any brothers or sisters. And for until like only a few years ago, every video game I played was by myself.
Until
Like
a few years ago.
Yeah, well, I guess Call of Duty I played online and stuff, but even that wasn't really with friends. It wasn't until the Skype call I started playing with. I actually had like a community to play with.
Oh man, the Skype call.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Straw.
What's
You said that your dad, I think you said your dad gave you like your first game. What was your first game?
Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Ooh.
1997.
Along those
Google.
lines.
Yeah. No. Chris, you know what to do. It was torrented.
97. Good job.
It was ripped. Yeah, it was ripped. It was on a blank CD, and I used. I didn't use a mouse because I didn't know that was a thing back then, and I used to look around with the arrow keys, until one time I accidentally hit the mouse with my elbow, and then that's when I was first introduced to a first-person shooter.
Oh, you're using like
Oh my
WSD and
God.
like the arrow keys to move
Yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah.
Wow. That must have
What an
been
introduction.
a revelation.
Well, I didn't understand how to shoot people up. I kept trying to jump and shoot. And I didn't, it was
I think I
horrible.
played this game too back in the day. It looks really familiar.
It's funny.
It was
I have
fantastic.
a very similar story. Like my very first PC game was a Quake 3, and my dad did the
Oh,
same thing. He ripped
man.
it off the internet.
I remember going to
Me and
your
my brother.
place, dude. Oh my god.
I'm surprised parents were
It changed my life, probably.
like
Yeah.
parents were able to do that. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah. My
Mhm.
dad was like, he's pretty into it. Like, I mean, maybe more so like 10 years ago. Now he's kind of like settled to where he is, but like he was definitely like he was always buying the new computer at Future Shop at the time or whatever, trying to stay.
My dad's like that now. He doesn't play video games, but my pops and I have the same computer.
Okay,
Oh, nice.
that's awesome.
That's funny you mentioned Quake, dude. I remember when you lived near me and I'd come down with like Brett and we'd just sit on your computer and take turns doing freeze. Or was it called freeze tag or something?
Yeah, that was the greatest.
It's super fun.
Doing
Like,
wait
that's
freeze
all I know.
tag in Quake? Because I'm coming from the outside perspective here. I was never able to
Yeah.
play Quake as a kid, just because of that's like how the dice rolled. But
I give you like an outside perspective. Is kind of like it was team based. It was like snipers only, I guess. It'd be like equivalent to like a bolt action, I guess. It was like
A railgun.
slow recharge.
oh, okay.
Anyway, so you hit somebody and they're frozen, and a teammate can thaw them out by standing next to them for like 5 seconds.
Oh, so it was like literally
sounds
freeze
awesome.
tag. Yeah.
It
It's
was
super
really
fun.
cool. So
That
and then
sounds fun now.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Hey, do you guys want to stop casting and just fire up some Quake? Like,
I'm already installing. it.
okay.
I wish more games had a game mode like that. It was
Right,
so
yeah.
good.
Well, I mean, there's
And then
a
like
obviously
revive
the
option,
first
but-
team to be all frozen, or they lose the round, right? So
okay.
The first team to
come down
be
and
all
some
frozen.
ones where you're trying to thaw out your
Oh,
teammate,
so
you
you
kill the
can-
last guy at the same time. It was like it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So you could technically, it's a one shot, right, to freeze.
Yes.
So you could technically it's 5v5, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well,
It's how many
depending on the
friends you
server
have.
size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. So you could like
So
1v4
open to
people.
wherever. Like there was only a few servers back in the day that like actually
Mhm.
were still up when I started playing. At least in the version of the game I was playing.
That's back in dial-up too, eh? Or is that DSL?
I definitely didn't have dial-up at the time. It's been DSL.
Oh man, DSL was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
That's
like.
when it's dial-up.
Well, I mean, like I never really got into dial-up gaming. I think
Well,
that
imagine
was.
imagine you 1v4 clutching and then someone calls you on your phone.
Well, that's what I mean.
No!
DSL was so amazing because I remember one of my greatest memories in gaming as a younger child was um, I would sit at my parents' computer desk, and I had gotten Warcraft 3, fantastic game. But me and my like it was like grade school / high school buddy, like well it wouldn't have been in high school, but we would sit there and load up Warcraft 3. And then when our parents, like, weren't doing anything, we would pick up the phone and call each other on the phone. And that was like our first Skype. Like, we just put the phone
Yeah.
on speaker on the desk and we would just play Warcraft 3. And we would have a bit of an advantage when we played games because, like, we would do 2v2s and stuff like that. Just shoot the shit on the phone. But it became an issue because we would do this for so long, and my mom would eventually like start yelling at me, like, I'm expecting a call tonight or something. Like, I have shit to do too. Like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh shit, okay, I gotta go.
I used to do the same thing for 1.6 with my buddy
Counter Strike.
Phone.
on the phone. Yeah, Counter Strike 1.6. I mean, we didn't even play competitive either. It was just we were playing gun games, just talking about who was
Yeah.
cute in our class.
Oh, yeah.
I remember using
Sliding
a
in the
phone for
MSN.
communication, but I do remember when I first started playing WoW, I was playing with two buddies, and I think we used Skype or something, but I didn't have a mic, but I did have Rock Band, and you could plug the Rock Band mic into your computer and it would pick it up as a regular mic.
Oh,
So
no
I had to
way.
stand next to me with the Rock Band mic, and he used the same thing, so we were both using them, and we used that to talk.
How did
After
it
a while, we
sound?
started using Xbox Live to talk while playing on our PC.
Okay.
Couldn't figure anything else out.
Yeah, no, same question. How did that sound?
Yeah.
Not good, but it worked. You could understand what they were saying, but it was not very good.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Speaking of Xbox Live, were you guys PlayStation kids or Xbox kids?
I was fortunate enough to have both.
Really?
Nintendo and
Oh.
Xbox.
Nintendo and Xbox.
I had my first console I ever had was a PS1. I got
Nice.
the PS2, and then my mom's friend, who was a lesbian and had no kids, got a free Xbox original with her Mazda. Go Mazda. And she
Hashtag
she
not
gave it to me.
sponsored. Oh, that's pretty sweet. That's awesome. I remember. Chris Connors. What were you? PlayStation or Xbox?
That's Xbox.
Xbox
And I
kid?
think Xbox 360 mainly. We had
Yeah.
original Xbox, but I didn't play a lot of it.
Yeah,
Actually,
Xbox original was
Xbox
amazing.
360 is when like the social aspect of gaming started for me.
yeah,
Halo
yeah.
3.
That was
Everybody played
Oh
that.
my God, Halo
Halo
3.
3?
I could
Oh,
talk
yeah.
for
And I
hours
was a
on
little
Halo
late
3.
on the bandwagon, but
Oh, yeah.
that was
I
the
was-
big social like kick point for me.
I
Yeah.
remember getting into Xbox Live parties with like 15 people and all doing custom games and
Oh
stuff on
man,
Guardian.
it was so much fun. Guardian was so good because I had a friend who lived in the States because we're from Canada, but yeah, he lived in the States. We'd always play Halo 3. Like, that became the thing. It's like after school, go home, meet this guy, play Halo 3. We would always do BR snipes on Guardian. That was, the after school special, the fucking Crucible. That's how I learned to play. It was just playing against someone who was better than me, and then we would just, eventually we'd meet up with more and more people, and we'd have like, solid custom games. But oh man, that was so much fun.
Halo started almost a lot of my gaming career, especially when it comes to competitive. Like I still remember. I don't know if you guys remember G4 TV,
Yes.
Tech TV, either one. I think it was Tech TV, and then it changed to G4 TV. They had a show called Screensavers on it, which eventually turned into Attack of the Show, I think. But
With
on Screensavers,
Kevin Pereira.
yeah, my dad used to watch it all the time because my dad's been into tech shit for like his whole life, which is a big reason I got into it. But he was watching Screensavers, and they were doing a Halo 2 episode for the launch of Halo 2. And they like had a guy come out in full Master Chief armor, and they were showing gameplay, and I was so fucking psyched. I wanted it so bad.
Oh my God.
I remember I downloaded the video file for the E3 demo of it, and I would watch it. I must have watched it like 150 times. I just play it on fucking repeat because it looked so sick. I wanted it so bad, but I couldn't get an Xbox because they're too expensive. So I got Halo CE Combat Evolved for PC, and that's fucking all I played for like the first
Yeah.
2 or 3 years of my PC gaming life was Halo Combat Evolved on PC. It was super fun.
Yeah, I remember. I was like secondhand addicted to video games at the time, and I say that because, like, I would always go over to friends' houses to play consoles and play stuff like that. Like, my one of my buddies who I played hockey with would, he introduced me to Halo, I believe. And that's like when I was like, I need this console. I need this console now. It's because I'd go over to his house after like hockey practice or something like that, and we'd hang out, and we'd just like we'd go play some multiplayer and stuff like that on his console. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Because like before that, I had owned, like I had a GameCube. I was kind of like I always bought and sold consoles. Like when I had I can't remember what I went from, but it was like I had a PlayStation 2, and eventually I think I sold that so I could buy a GameCube, and then, or I think I sold my N64 to get a GameCube, and then I sold my GameCube to get an Xbox, and I sold my Xbox to get an Xbox 360. Just trying to upgrade them.
Trading up.
Yeah, but it was
I
like,
remember my buddy had an Xbox original, and it was right before the Xbox 360 came out, and he had live.
oh
He had it online.
yeah, I didn't have that.
Original Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first time I seen it, and I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest.
I never used it.
He was to this day he's the only person I know that has ever done it, and he was playing Ghost Recon, and it friggin' blew my mind that he was sitting there playing with someone else that's not beside him, and that they're not NPCs.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there and be like, "Is he an NPC? Is he an NPC? Is he an NPC?" I can't remember what I called him back then, and he's like, "No, they're all players." And no, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no.
And then after that, like honestly, like a few months later, after that, Xbox 360 came out, and if you didn't have live, you were what
Why'd
are
you have
doing?
an Xbox?
Why'd you have an Xbox? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing with my cousin a bit on the Xbox original, and having him like explain that to me, because my cousin was like, he's a few years older than me, and I remember sitting down and playing games with him because he was the mature kid, because he was of course older than me. He had
The cool kid.
Yeah, he was the cool kid. But no, I remember like he had like Conker's Bad Fur Day or something like that. And I remember like sitting down to watch him play that, and I think my mom was uneasy about it because she's like, "You shouldn't be seeing this stuff," and I was like, "No, I want to watch. This is so cool. This is so cool." So I think that was also a thing that I was like, "Oh man, like there's crazy stuff in video games."
I was never. My parents never cared what I played. They would. I go to Blockbuster and they'd rent me Grand Theft Auto, and they knew exactly what's on it. But they never.
My mom was the opposite. She was like, "Oh no, I see the rating on that game."
I mean, my mom showed me the Blair Witch Project when I was like 8 years old.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I still
love
haven't
it.
seen that
My
one.
mom's a great mother, by the way. If anyone's watching, she's a great mother.
Oh, no doubt. But it's Blair Witch. I still haven't seen that because I'm too much of a scaredy cat.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. I strongly suggest it. That's how I got into horror movies. Anyway, back to. I remember actually. I don't know how I just thought of this, but the Xbox original brought me to one of my favorite games I've ever played, and that was Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic. And that game is so good that that's actually what got me into Star Wars in general. I'm not huge on the movies for the lore, but the video games, wow,
All about it.
all about it. Someone was, well, no, probably no one in this call, but I like the games more than I like the movies.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I actually,
A valid stance to take.
yeah, I don't like. I never really played too much in them myself. I remember one of my good friends played that game like a bunch, and he showed it to me one day, and I was like, "Oh wow, like so you're just this dude, and you can do whatever you want." It's like,
Well, it had an
yeah,
inventory system. I think that's why I fell in love with it. To this
Yeah.
game, I still love games with inventory systems. You go around, loot, and you upgrade your character. And it was an RPG. It was a Star Wars RPG.
so Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, like a little hit of that, loot restart.
No, you don't restart.
It's like a Final Fantasy, the Star Wars game, is it not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, third person. Yeah.
I've actually never
turned in.
played Old Republic, and I kick myself for it constantly because I really need to because I've heard it's so good, but
It,
I've never gotten
and
around to playing
it's
it.
you won't even like the fact that it's dated won't even bother you.
No, I've heard it's amazing to this day.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play it, I just never got around to it.
Have to put that on my list.
There's two
Star
of
Wars
them.
game.
And they're both good.
Star Wars
Well,
game
maybe
I
it's
played
made
a
by
shitload.
Bethesda. So
Was it? No, it was
Yeah.
BioWare, wasn't it?
it was Bioware. I'm sorry, it was
Yeah.
Bioware. Obsidian made the second one, but
Yeah.
they're both amazing.
The first Star Wars game I remember playing was you get what is it called? Episode 1 Racer on N64. It was a pod racing
Oh,
game.
the pod racer, yeah.
Oh my god,
I
it was
remember
so good.
that.
Dude, you remember Justin had it.
Yeah. that
I
was a cool
bought
game.
that
I
copy
loved
off
that.
of him. I own that copy still, the one that he had. It's fucking so fun. It's so good.
I
It was
thought
one of
that
the first
super
racing
cool
games that
game.
actually felt like you were going fast because it was in like full 3D and like
Yeah.
the N64 was fucking sick for racing games, but
And the pod sounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they ripped that off, completely took it off from
Wow.
the movie. So kudos to the
Yeah.
movies.
yeah, it was
The
super
pod
sick.
sounds from the movies are amazing.
Pods are so sick, dude. They're like these giant fucking engines, and you're just
Yeah.
strapped in this little pod on the back of it, and it's just
You're like
oh.
flying, flying all over the place on them.
And in the game, you could get like you could crash where you blow up one whole engine, and then you go flying, and it was crazy.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, I remember blowing up one engine and then you'd just be spiraling, but you'd still be
Yeah.
going, still be
You
going.
could still drive a little bit.
Is that the first racing game you played?
I think
First
so.
racing game I played? No, actually, the first racing game I played was on the Super Nintendo, but I don't know what one it was.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It was the first one that I played extensively, though. It was
it
super
was like a
good.
dirt bike one. Was it?
The
I'm
one
trying
I'm
to
thinking
think
of, the one I'm, oh, fuck,
Like
what was it?
MX versus ATV.
It was
No, Super Nintendo.
Oh, Super Nintendo.
Super
Oh,
Nintendo.
oh yeah. No, I know what
It
you're
was-
talking about.
might have been Top Gear for Super Nintendo or F1 pole position. It was like a car racing game, and like it was like Super Nintendo, so it was like it had like the FX chip thing going on where it was like 2D, but it was 3D, and you'd like when you turned, the screen turned, not your car.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
The
but
game I'm thinking about is Excite Bikes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Excite Bike. Oh
That
my
was, like,
god.
My first kind of racing game. That
Yeah,
was pretty
I
cool.
love that
Excite Bike's
game.
lit.
My
I
first racing game was Motor Racer 1997 on PC, and I used a joystick.
Oh yes.
I wouldn't put that thing down, man. I sucked at that game, but I loved it.
Oh man. Speaking of Excite Bike, I'm pretty sure in the Animal Crossing game, you
That's the
could
first time I
get
played Excite Bike.
you could get Excite Bike, and I was like, no way, and I just played Excite Bike for the rest of the night because it was like, oh my god, I could play Excite Bike, like this is
I
amazing.
still
that's way better
have-
than what I played.
I think I still have my Animal Crossing cart with that on it, but
Do you guys know how old that game is? Excite Bike.
Excite Bike, it was
84.
1984. Yeah, it was one of the not. I don't know if it was a release title, but it was damn close to it for the original NES.
No way.
Well, it's Japan 84.
My grandparents had an
NES was
NES, and every time I was over there, like I'd love to go over because they had this NES, and I don't know where in hell they would have got it from, but they had like a hacked like ROM that had like
Man, back then they were everywhere.
it was like
200.
200 NES games. You just like scroll through the list, pick whatever one you want. It was ridiculous. Like I don't even know if there were 200 games out. There was like modded versions of the games that already existed. Like I remember playing like a Bomberman where you couldn't hit yourself and you could lay bombs as fast as you could press it. It was insane. That was my favorite.
That's sick.
That's amazing.
You couldn't die. It was just like completely overpowered, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, man. Back then you could just get like pirated and like ripped games every. Like I remember you used to go to Jumbo Video and they used to have the chip that you would put in your Xbox original
In your Xbox, yeah.
to install the games that you would rent right beside where you got the chip. Like it was like they were promoting you to rent their game for a day and then just have it for free forever.
That never made any sense to me because they must have lost money by selling those chips.
I don't
right?
think they
had
knew
to.
what it was. I think that they seen it and they're like Xbox. Well, we rent games. Might
Oh,
as
it's
well
an
sell
Xbox
this.
accessory. People probably want it, and they
Yeah,
realize
I
that
don't think they
people
knew
are
what it was.
stealing their games with it.
I mean, the
The
best
product they sold them.
the best part of Jumbo Video was the popcorn. So
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
What, the one that was there for 2 weeks straight? It's like they never change it. They
yo.
just pop new.
I mean, we
I lived off stale popcorn for like 2 years in junior high.
yeah, we had a Jumbo Video right next to our high school. So I mean, I say we as in like me and the general populace of my high school, but we would go there and just be like, yo, Jumbo Video, like we'll go get some popcorn, pretend we're renting video game, even though like, you know, the amount of us were all wearing our school uniforms, so it was pretty obvious we were just coming here for the free popcorn. But you know, oh, this looks good, oh yeah, and I might rent that one, oh my god, well, I maybe tomorrow, all right.
Go grab a little popcorn. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, man.
Then walk out together.
You don't see you till you're hungry again.
Yeah, exactly. That, and then Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we have a little like strip mall thing down the road from where I live, and they had a Jumbo Video and they had an M&M. So you'd go into the M&M and you'd get the peach juice, and then you go into the Jumbo Video and you get the free popcorn, and you were rolling in it, and that's all I fucking drank and ate for like 2 years in junior high.
Oh my god, how do you sustain yourself on that much popcorn though? Because
It was free.
I don't remember the bags being that big.
He sustained himself off freedom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Like we'd be out all day, like just walking around doing random shit, but we had no fucking money because we were like 13. So we'd go in there and get the free juice and the free popcorn, and that would sustain us for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I remember the store by me that rented video games, which no one rents video games anymore, unfortunately.
You know what's funny? You say that. Sorry to interrupt real quick,
Yeah.
but I was in Lacewood today, in the last game store. They still rent games.
Wow.
They have like
You
a
know-
return slot in it.
Do you know what the nice thing about the kids these days, kids these days,
these
they
days,
can- they can experience is standing beside your mother and she says, "All right, you can get one,"
Oh
and
my
there's about
god!
100 games there, and you can only pick one. Which game are you going to pick?
12-year-old me got rock hard, dude. It was insane.
Oh man.
12-year-old
Yeah.
me got Simpsons Road Rage every
Every
single time. Every single time. I did not switch it up. It was Road Rage, man, until I beat the game.
Dude, the hardest part was convincing them to let you take the one that was like M rated or like
Yeah.
you know, slightly.
No, man,
edgy.
you put your thumb on it when you show
Yeah,
it.
this is cool looking.
No man, I went with the preach. Like I was like, you know, this game ain't that bad. I can handle
I
it.
pulled That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That was me. I was like, I played this at my buddy's.
It's
house.
just
yeah,
a
it's
video
not that
game.
bad.
It didn't seem to make sense. It was.
My,
it
all
was
my
Fable.
friends play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that one. All my friends play it.
Yeah.
That
pretty
was
much.
that was the golden.
Fortunately, my parents never cared about that.
Yeah.
My parents are usually pretty cool about the rating stuff.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember how old I was when it came out, but like I went in to buy Assassin's Creed when it came out for the 360, and the guy at the counter was like, you know, this is a great game, right? Mom's like, yeah, I think he's okay, he can handle it. I was like, yes.
See, suck it, store clerk, suck it.
Yeah.
The
Fuck
only
you, man.
time, yeah,
I'm
the only
allowed.
time my parents looked at me weird was one time when my dad walked in. I was playing GTA Vice City.
Yeah, I saw where that
I
was
don't have to say
going.
much more than that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
basically, I was beating a girl in a bra. I'm pretty sure she was a stripper with a hammer.
We don't condone
Walked in on
violence.
that.
Yeah,
I remember, I think I rented it, but I had like I think it was San Andreas, and like I'd be playing it normally, like beating people up, shooting people or whatever. And then as soon as I heard my parents coming downstairs, I'd immediately find a car and just start driving around and pretend it was like a driving game.
Yeah.
Didn't want them to see me shooting people and like beating up hookers and shit.
Oh man, see, I did the opposite. I just didn't play Grand Theft Auto. I played Driver 3.
Ooh,
That
game
game,
was sick.
it was so good. It was like
I played Driver 2. I never played the third.
wait, yeah, hold on. Now I'm thinking, was it 2 or was it 3? It was one of the two. I don't know.
Was it for PlayStation 1?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I just remember it being. I think it was actually an Xbox game. Yeah, it was Xbox
I played it
original.
on Xbox 360.
Okay, I
I
had
don't
Driver
remember which
2
one
on
it was, though.
PlayStation 1, and there was a 2-disc combo.
Oh, okay.
Which
Yeah.
original?
Oh shit! Do you remember that?
2-disc
Multi-
combos?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Games
dude.
needing
Whoa,
2
yeah.
discs. Holy crap.
That was a new experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, if consoles today didn't have a hard drive, you would still need multi-disc
Oh
game.
yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think you probably download half the game like without the CD at this point.
Well, does Grand Theft Auto come with multiple CDs if you buy it physically?
I don't think so.
I don't
No?
think.
But I think you pull half of it down from like a server somewhere though.
Well, like the thing is too is that like back in the day everything was on CDs, right? But now it's on
Right.
DVDs and they can hold way more storage.
Yeah,
than
yeah,
CDs
true.
could.
Oh my god, Age of Empires, the
Oh,
multi
yeah.
CD sets. I got so into that.
My
Dude.
uncle had all of them.
Speaking of the CDs, do you guys have a PlayStation 1 game around you, like sitting near you right now?
No.
Some
I
of the
never had one.
CDs were black.
What do you mean?
It was
Like underneath, you mean?
the CD. The
CDs?
CD was
Yeah.
black,
They
and
were so cool.
like, and I actually think I'm not actually sure. I'm about to go check to see if I have one right now, but they might have been actually technically dark purple if you put in the light, but they're so dark that it looks black. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I don't see CDs looking like that anymore.
I wonder what that was for.
It's funny. It's,
Some
it's-
games had it, some games didn't. I'll go
Yeah.
find one right now. One sec.
This one's black. This image I just pulled up. That's cool though. Like it's not like a reflective, or maybe it is a little bit reflective, but yeah, I do remember seeing that. I never had one, but I go to a friend's house and like they'd be putting
They
in
had
a
the black
CD, and I
CD.
was like, "What is that?" I was so confused by it.
Hold
Yeah,
on, what is
I
this
still have the
nonsense?
discs for I still have my discs for Warcraft and Burning Crusade.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I still have some of those
There's-
around, yeah.
In order to install both of those off of CDs, it's like 12 discs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's
Game
probably
is-
like 4 or 5 gigs.
Yeah, and it
total.
took up the majority of the hard drive I had at the time too.
Oh yeah, I remember playing those
Oh, I know
games.
what it is.
I got one for Christmas. I think it was Warcraft 3: The Frozen Throne expansion.
Yep.
And oh my god, I just sat down and I was like, this is my day. This is the nobody
Install.
talk to me. It's like, yeah, I would sit there while it installed and just see through, like they used to do a thing where it would just flip through
Yeah.
game images, and I'd be like, oh man, I can't wait for that. It's like, oh man, I can't wait for that too. It's like, oh my god, and then I'd be reading the book it came with, like even if it's just the installation instructions, like just insert the frickin' disc and play the game. It's like, oh man, okay. Like that's what's up. And I would just sit there until it's done installing and just lose my mind. So, oh man.
Through all them loading screen. I love it when they give you like the in the installer they have like these big like wallpaper images while the installer's going. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't wait to do that in game.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that in game.
I still like the World of Warcraft loading screens for that reason. It's like, oh my god. It's nostalgia.
The old installers, just in general, though, I think they'd go full screen and
Yeah.
they'd have like that blue and black gradient.
Yeah, exactly. I know
Yeah.
exactly
I
what you mean.
Like someone at some point like thought that would be should be the standard, and like I don't understand why that like was a thing that happened. Maybe it was just me and like the individual games I installed, but like I remember that distinctly. You'd
I
install
remember-
something and giant blue and black gradient
Yeah.
in the background.
Because they didn't want the ugly white.
The big screen would come up, and then a little box with the wizard would come up.
Oh yeah, there's still some programs that do it like that.
Yeah, some older ones for sure.
I mean, yeah, I only really remember the ones that like they transitioned to like nice pictures, like the Age of Empires. I'm gonna go with that one again because Age of Empires would always have their cool backdrops of like cities and stuff like that. Oh my god, that image is
Threw a picture
disgusting.
of
Yeah.
one in there. But that's what it was. Like it was weird. Like I don't know why that was.
For anybody
Yeah, that
listening,
made me real
yeah.
happy though.
Sorry.
That made me happy seeing that.
Yeah.
It kind of like no, I don't think I feel the same way. It's like
I remember it starting like that. A lot of them started like that. Like they'd come up with a big like random color in the background in the little wizard window, and then when you like click next and it actually started installing, the blue part would turn into an image, and there'd be like a smaller window in the corner with the loading bar as it was going.
Yeah.
And it would like
yeah.
it was like a screensaver almost. It would,
Like,
like
I'm ready to
cycle-
play Diablo 1 looking at that.
oh my god. Yeah, for anybody listening, because this is an audio format, it's the blue and black gradient going from top to bottom, and then your whatever data it's installing for your specified game, and it's
It must have been a Windows 95 standard or something.
I guess,
It's just
but
weird.
it's just
No.
not great looking.
No.
That was the
gradient.
bane.
Be better than the gradient.
You're all about the gradients, eh?
Oh, yeah.
No, there's I don't know. Those installers were the ones that I always were just like, am I doing the right thing? Even though I was just installing a video game.
You never know what it's doing.
Yeah,
Once
I
I
know.
finally understood installers, it was all fucking bets off, dude. I just my computer was riddled with programs and games and
Yeah.
movies and everything. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I have a distinct memory of that too, because I'd get my dad to install stuff at first.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to go call my dad to come down and install it for me.
Oh,
so it's afraid
yeah.
to fuck something up.
And as soon as I figured out, it's like, oh, he just pressed next a bunch, so like then it's all over.
Yeah, then he was
Yeah.
always like, "Why there's so much malware on my computer?"
Pretty much.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's like, why? How come every time I install something, I have the Yahoo toolbar?
Oh man,
Every
that
time.
when I first realized like the toolbars in our browser were like hidden in programs and stuff, I was like, oh my god, they're
Yeah,
so.
that's like read.
I can-
Proceed
I
to
can-
delete all 6.
Yeah, like I can prevent this. I felt like Smokey the Bear. Like I can prevent shitty toolbars.
Yeah.
No, it was a great period of time.
I don't understand how like Yahoo's like, yeah, let's put this in programs. People didn't use that stuff.
Oh,
Like,
maybe
you know what I mean?
like what?
People who knew what they were doing didn't, for
Yeah.
sure. But the people who didn't know what they were doing would use them.
Yeah,
Use what? The Yahoo toolbar?
yeah.
Really?
Because I mean,
yeah.
it was more
You
or
ever
less.
seen an old person's PC like this day and age? They have like half their screen is toolbars.
Oh
There's
my
not,
God,
like, You
yeah.
can barely see the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of troubling.
And their desktop is just pictures of their grandkids.
Yeah.
Like not like the desktop's a picture of their grandkids. Like their desktop is full of icons to
pictures.
open that are pictures of their grandkids.
Yep.
Which still gives me anxiety when I see stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, that's the old age and just the oh man.
No, I know people our age that do that stuff still. The computers are like computers are to this day still are kind of like cars where they've been around for a while, but people still have no clue how they work. They just accept it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask to kind of tie everything we've talked about together today. So we grew up, you know, obviously we've been talking about, you know, all of our memories gaming, all of our like growing up with the aging tech. What do you think? There's going to be new gamers, and the new gamers are the kids who are now, you know, growing up in high school or even pre-high school, and they have access to all these wonderful things, these wonderful new graphics, these wonderful new like, you know, interactions. Do you think it will be the same for them growing up in like a community building? Like I know Xbox was very community building. Like I made a lot of friends through that, and just so distinct.
I think that they're going to be very impatient because they didn't know what it was like before. Which is nothing wrong with that. Like everyone always wants something better.
What do you mean? Can you elaborate?
Like we said before, we used to go down to a store to go rent games.
Right.
And now we just download them all.
Now if the internet's down, a kid's gonna flip his shit.
Well, I mean, I would almost call that convenience in the place of like I value the downloads. I don't think I learned a massive lesson from going to Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I see what you're talking about.
I think the big difference between what we went through and what people are probably going to go through now is that the progression is different in terms of what a game is. Because like when we were growing up, we started with like Super Nintendo N64, and then as we grew up, we got better graphics. The games were bigger. They were like there was new ideas for design. People were figuring out how to make 3D work. People were figuring out new kinds of games to play with like your controller on your like Wii, like with the motion controls and all that stuff. But we've kind of hit a point now where like next year's graphics are going to look roughly the same as this year's graphics. The new Xbox is going to be basically the same as the old Xbox.
It's got an
I think
extra
games
X.
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe they can just focus on content then, and not.
I think the big difference is going to be instead of it growing up with like new tech for games, it's going to be new ways to play them, like VR, for example, and AR and that kind of thing is going to be the evolution as opposed to better graphics and like new controllers. 'Cause
I think that
people-
they're gonna grow up to the evolution of loot boxes. I think is what's gonna actually happen.
Yeah.
Oh man.
People have kind of figured out games for the most part at this point in their life. Like there's very in-depth ideas of how games should be and how design works and what works and what doesn't. Whereas when we were growing up, people were still figuring that out. So we got a lot of weird stuff, we got a lot of new stuff, but now everything's kind of converging into itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to grow up learning new ways to play, like physically interact with the games as opposed to the games looking different and like being a different type of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
think socially,
Good.
I was gonna say, I think socially now, like growing up with games being so like huge in society, it's gonna be way different. Cause like when we were growing up,
Mainstream.
so you're in like middle school or whatever, and all of a sudden you're talking to somebody, and it's like, holy shit, we both play this game. You're all of a
Mhm.
sudden you're friends.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Wow, like you find somebody else who's playing like a game that you did, because like it was more rare to like have people playing games, I think. And now I think now with
Usually
like
the
younger
same games.
generations, it's almost expected. Like everybody plays games at this
Yeah.
point.
It's such a mainstream thing now compared to what it was 10 years ago, even.
Yeah.
I'd made friends just because there's random people who played League of Legends, and all of a sudden you like meet them at school, and it's like then you're in a lobby with them later that night.
Yeah,
playing
and
games.
that's actually like very. That's not like a 5. I remember first year university, I was introduced to League of Legends, and I remember being in class, and someone had a backwards hat on in class that said Shen, and I was like, no way, man.
Yeah.
No way, that is so cool. And now, like, if I see a League of Legends, I'd be like, you friggin' loser.
You're a sheep.
That's actually really
Back
funny.
then- Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that too, because like everyone in this call right now I met because of games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I met
for sure.
Chris. I've known you for the longest, and like I think we probably met because of like Matt Hatch or something back in the day. But like we talked and like became friends because we were playing like RuneScape back in the day. Like you'd showed
Yeah.
me RuneScape in like grade 4 or something, right? And like Straw, I
Yeah.
didn't talk to you at all in high school, but after high school, I met you because you joined the Skype columns.
Both Chris's, I was introduced to both you guys through Payday 2.
Payday
really?
too.
Yeah. I guess that would have been it.
It was League of Legends, and then I had I had no one to play Payday 2 with, but I seen that was good. So I asked Chris Connors, and you invited Chris Kinney, and then just downhill from there.
Downhill.
And like
from
same with Huey, like you live like
Man.
halfway across the fucking country from me, my whole life. But when you met people around here, you got pulled into like our gaming community. I
Oh
guess you could
man,
call it.
my meeting of the Nova Scotia gaming community was really funny because
I don't want to. Can I just say I don't want to represent the Nova Scotia gaming community because we're shit rats.
no, yeah, no, I'm not repping up the Nova Scotia gaming community. I'm repping up my gaming group, my friend group, just because it was so funny. Like I'll try not to name names or anything like that for their sake, but I remember like I went to university and I met my study group, and through my study group I got invited, which is really weird. I got invited to a party. And you know, when I got to this party, I started like me and my roommate were talking about like, oh man, like League of Legends, and I saw someone like on the other side of the room turn their head. Yeah, and he came over with his posse and was like, do you play League of Legends? And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm this rank. And they're like, oh my god, you're not bad at the game. I was like, no. And so we just talked about League of Legends all night. And then that is like, that group of people is now who I call some of my best friends I've ever made. Like, it was so funny because we were just at a random residence party where these people happened to be. And it was just like video games. And, you know, ever since then, it's just been like, hey, we're good buddies now. Yeah.
People together.
Yeah. Brings people together.
That comes around to like the whole like gaming becoming a mainstream thing too, because like back in like I don't know, like in our like parents, not our parents, but like I have a brother who's 10 years older than me. He's like 35, and like when he was in high school and in college, like the gamer kids were the nerds. Like no one taught,
Yeah.
like they weren't at parties, they were at home playing games kind of thing. But like it's such a mainstream thing now that like almost anybody you talk to has some sort of experience with a game, where it's like it could be an iPhone game or something, but they have knowledge of it. Whereas it used to be like a really taboo, like a thing that nerds did, that was like the community that did it.
Yeah.
Now it's like movies. It's like a massive entertainment industry that everyone has some sort of stake in some way.
We'll have to talk
well, 'cause
about.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we'll have to talk about mobile games in a future episode.
For sure.
Yeah. 'Cause they're a whole new bag of worms. But Straw.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. It's fine. It's fine. It'll come to me.
I think
Alright.
it's gonna be more. There's gonna be more segregation now for younger people.
Oh, I remember now. Okay.
Less about people who play games and don't play games, more about what games you play. You're not gonna be friends with those kids because they play that other game that you don't like.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is that they've realized that games video games aren't video games. There's different genres of video games. Just like
Yeah.
someone saying like, just because I like movies doesn't necessarily mean I like Disney movies,
Yeah.
right?
It's like I forget who made it. The video game high school thing. I watched.
Oh
the
yeah, that
first
was
Oh, yeah.
Freddie W. group.
Yeah. I could almost see that being a real thing. in the
It
future.
technically is. There's schools in some places that do courses and stuff on games, specifically like StarCraft and stuff. Like studying games.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wish that was more mainstream in like North America, but
Like
we haven't. I don't
actual
think we've seen
gaming high
anything
schools,
like that
or
yet.
They're like obviously there's I'm in school for gaming, but like there's schools not for design but like for the game itself. I'll try to find an example, but I remember specifically StarCraft, and they offer courses on like how to play it as opposed to like learning how it works, right?
Okay,
okay.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. Would you do something like that if that was offered to you? Like, say you're mid high school and someone says, "Hey, like you have the opportunity to go to this school because you play video games. Like, do you want to just like f
I
math,
was
go
gonna-
video games?"
Hell yes! If I was given the opportunity to do that in like high school, even absolutely would have jumped in.
Maybe
Like,
class was kind of just playing games because everyone would just finish their shit and then play Quake or fucking Halo on the school servers.
Yeah.
right.
Or
But, like,
the LAN.
I don't know. I guess it is really hard to justify it as like I don't know, a public.
Unless you're in Korea
Yeah,
playing StarCraft.
it's hard though. It almost be more of like a specialty thing. I can't see
I think-
it being like taught publicly at a public school. You know, like I don't know, maybe like a intro to video games or like a history type thing. Video games, but
Well, I think it like.
actually playing it, I feel like that's very different.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I feel like schools will eventually here have some semblance of something on esports. Because
Like elementaries and high schools and stuff.
I would say more high school, definitely not elementary, but
I would say no to that.
No?
I don't think so. No, I mean our high schools now are way behind in even like media. I don't think they're going to catch up on esports. That's for sure.
okay, fair enough.
I don't see it going into the curriculum because it's. You know when I can maybe see going into the curriculum when people our age become the people that make the curriculum. So when we
True.
hit
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
40, 50, right?
Counter-Strike class on Tuesday, StarCraft class on Thursday.
Yeah. But
Learn
Chris,
spray patterns.
But-
Yeah, they're gonna learn spray. Everyone be ready with your AK spray patterons on Monday. We're gonna be practicing. off the class.
but
If you
Professor
don't know how to do a
Chris,
2-base rush in StarCraft, you're gonna get a D.
but Chris, I only know how to cannon rush.
Well, you better figure out them racks. You're fucked otherwise.
Oh my god, that'd be so
Oh, I
funny.
didn't practice my smokes last night. The teacher's gonna kill me.
Yeah. Oh my
What
god.
that D-side smoke shit? Fuck.
Yeah. Does anybody know Mirage? Does anybody know?
Hey, can we go on the computer real quick before class? You can show me that smoke again. I can't fucking remember it. I need it on the test.
Bro, I need my laptop in tip-top shape.
So funny. Well, maybe I don't know if it'll ever be like that kind of thing will be pushed into like an actual school system, like the current like education system. But there might be something outside of that that is for educating people and that kind of thing.
That's what I was thinking, like a specialty.
Okay.
It kind of
I
already
think-
exists in Korea. They have like StarCraft schools in Korea where people go and they
Are we
learn how to
opening
play
up
and shit.
Nova Scotia's first gaming school?
If you want to try to fund it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Funded. We just need a room and a few computers. I think
go
we already got the computers.
We'll get them to pay us.
GoFundMe Halifax Gaming This is a joke or
Dot fake gamers.
fake gamers.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
fake gamers, fake teachers.
Give us your money.
Yeah,
that may not attract too many people, but we
yeah,
try.
yeah. I was gonna say we have a pretty daunting name to be like anywhere talking about anything gaming. So like, oh, these guys are fake.
But imagine like how fun. Yeah. Imagine making it to like the professional gaming scene like as fake gamers.
Like, what do you mean? Do you mean like I don't actually play video games? Like I cheat and I get to the professional level, or
I mean, like it just like
Or just
known
your-
professionally,
Known as the
known
fake gamers.
known as a fake
Okay.
gamers in the gaming community.
The organization is Fake Gamers.
Also known as casters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they actually some casters are like very good at the game and have just since retired.
Yeah.
I'd say most casters have a knowledge of the game. Most casters are like coaches in sports, where they know a lot about the game, but when it comes down to it, they're just as good as any of us. I guess I should
I was
say.
gonna say they're better than us, that's for sure.
If that's ever a thing, the team needs to show up. The jerseys are like hoodies, and then you gotta wear sweatpants or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
it's
we
like-
should get some like hockey jerseys
You don't
or
have to wash your
something.
hair beforehand.
Yeah, required to just get out of bed and go to the tournament. Like,
If there's
that's
a
it.
comb found anywhere on your body, you're kicked out of the team.
Ah. We need 5 different, or depending on the team size, just different jerseys. So like one player could wear a football jersey, the next player wears a hockey jersey, the next player, and then next player has a hoodie. The coach wears his pajamas.
Now that I think about it too, in terms of like the whole education with gaming thing, it's starting to happen now already. But like high schools and colleges and stuff are picking up gaming teams. So like instead of having a hockey team or a football team, well, not instead of, but along with a hockey team and a football team, they'll have a Counter-Strike team or a StarCraft team or a League team.
I think that's amazing as long as they stay active outside
Yeah,
of.
I want
those
that
video
to
games.
be a thing because I mean,
It
you
promotes
do it other
community.
sports.
It promotes relationships with the community and.
It's an
and having that team feeling.
extracurricular
Yeah.
activity that more people can get into.
That's
Yeah,
not
as long as they're
drugs.
as long as they're still being physically active. Outside of that, that's amazing.
I mean, it could get you a crippling addiction to buying computer parts, which, oh boy, that's
But I mean, that's like with everything. You can get.
true.
Addiction
Even
to
in
buying soccer
sports.
cleats.
Oh man.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, are
exactly.
you trying to out me right now, or?
I mean, you laugh, but being addicted to buying soccer cleats is a thing where you have to buy the brand new feet,
gotta
the
always have the
brand
newest
new. Yeah,
ones.
then you have to get the new Adidas, the F Series Adidas when they come out twice a year. You need the new ones.
I hope that's reserved to professional players, but I know it's
No,
not.
I
No,
went to school with
professional
people who did
players
that.
I was one of those people. I had to get the new cleats. I knew the guy that owned the soccer shop, right beside where Aaron works, where he sells vape gear.
Oh boy.
Where I used to sit there with the guy that was
Golden
working.
Goal.
Golden Goal. I used to sit there with the guy and wait for the truck to show up so I can buy the new cleats.
I remember that show.
Damn.
Yeah,
Committed.
Yeah.
exactly.
I always just got hand-me-down skates from my brother, and they were amazing.
All broken.
Yeah, they were
hockey
broken
gear,
in and everything.
Hockey gear goes the other way. It's like the
Yeah.
more used, the better. Like
Yeah.
it's weird. Except the sticks, maybe. but-
Yeah, and then we figured out we could just buy FIFA and NHL, and
Yeah,
never have to
killer.
buy gear again. You just buy the game.
Don't risk injury.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy gear.
Exactly.
That's not a thing anymore because if you buy FIFA now, you have to buy booster packs to open
Yeah, that's
cards.
true.
So
Oh man.
I think now you actually are spending more money on buying FIFA than if you
It's
actually
cheaper
were
to buy
soccer.
cleats and shin pads than to buy
Absolutely.
FIFA
Then buy,
cards.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then to buy a booster pack to have the chance of getting cleats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get the
All I
cleats
know-
this time.
All I know is that in high school I was not into sports and stuff. I played a little soccer earlier, but I wasn't in sports in high school. But if we had like a StarCraft team or a Counter-Strike team, I would have tried out for that. That would have been like
Oh,
the
yeah.
extracurricular activity that I would have been interested in.
Yeah.
'cause
I
that
feel like
sounds
if
really
we
cool
did
to
have
me.
that, that's not something you'd actually try out for at the start. Maybe eventually.
It depends on how it works, right? Because it could either be like I don't know how they'd introduce it, right? Because they'd either have a tryout thing, or a group of people would start it and be the team, and then when they were gone, they would have to bring in a new team, kind of thing.
I think it'd be the equivalent of a chess club, not to.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Because
Yeah,
you
you're
don't try out. You don't try out for a chess club.
You
You
can
just
just
come there
join.
and you play and you practice against other people and play StarCraft, and then you can meet people through that the group, and then maybe from there you can go to tournaments.
Like
Nice.
inter-school tournaments where you send your best 5 players or whatever to the tournament.
Chess club tries you out.
Exactly. Because you don't have to try out for something that's not team based, right? It's 1v1 or 2v1, and then or 2v2, sorry, and then you'd sit there in the computer lab and practice, play each other and have fun.
Yo, no, we are competitive gamers. Fun is not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you having
overrated.
fun back there?
No.
Never.
I'm having fun.
Low key fun. You
Yeah,
have to
low key fun.
Laugh under. You
Yeah.
have to laugh under your breath.
You gotta stifle it. I just Zerg rushed that guy. Shut up!
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No, I see that. I think that'd be fun. I kind of wish. I wish I was into. I wish I was just a little bit younger, getting into gaming. Or no. How can I say this? I wish that I got into community gaming sooner. 'Cause that's when my love really picked up.
Like you wish you were playing with other people earlier, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I know I had like people to talk to about games at least. So whenever I did something, I could go back to them, or like even if I was playing with them, it would just be like, "Yo, what do you think of this?" Or like, I think the best example of that was the replay system or the clip system in Halo 3, which was
Oh yeah, you share your.
yeah, and everyone was just like, "Yo, check out this sweet play I did," and you
Yeah,
could
'cause
just
you could have them on your profile.
yeah, and like
right?
you didn't even
Yeah.
need to be around. You could just be, on your friend's profile and just be like, "Oh my god, he did that?"
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that. That was sick.
It was so good.
What was this called? There's a name for it.
Oh god. Fake.
I don't know.
Oh, this is why we're fake gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
I would definitely just browse people's clips, like the ones that they deem good enough to put on their profile. I'd definitely go watch and be
The
like,
file share. That's what
File
it's called.
share, that's
oh
it.
yeah,
And then judge them very hard on them.
Steam
exactly.
should do that for Counter Strike and stuff like that. So
Oh, just in
not only
general,
do you
yeah.
look at people when you look at people's profiles, not only can you see how many hours they played to see if they're cheating or not, but you can look at their clips to see if they're good or not.
They have screenshots, but you're totally right. They should have a clipping system in Steam. That'd be sick. Can
Yeah.
you imagine if you could like take like your best Counter Strike plays and just put them on your Steam profile?
I think that'd be awesome. I think they should do that.
Get on it,
would
game
be awesome.
developers.
Type right to Gaben, dude.
Yeah, someone.
Type up an email.
Hey Gaben, I know you're the sole programmer and developer for Steam. Can you please make this happen? Also,
Yeah.
give us Panorama and CS, please, and stop forgetting about us and only talking about Dota. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, to be like, if you look at Steam, really hasn't changed.
Actually, it's funny you say that because I saw a thing on Reddit today which showed like the evolution of the Steam UI, and there's 4 versions of it basically for the past 20 years it's existed.
Yeah, really hasn't.
It was like a list, and then like a nicer looking list, and then basically the one we have today.
Their store has changed,
Yeah, oh yeah, the website's changed a shitload.
but other than that, like it just I don't know. It looks the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, the app was originally just all it was a way to update your Half-Life and your Counter Strike and your that kind of thing.
Which just was my first Steam game, Half-Life 2.
Oh man.
Yeah, my Steam account's old, very old.
All right. Well, I think that'll about do us for this week. Thank you for checking out the Fake Gamers podcast. We're going to try to put some more episodes out whenever this one. We don't know when this is going to air first. If you have any questions, concerns, or any recommendations for us, any questions you'd like, we might try to do something like that. You can email us at fakegamerspodcast at gmail.com. Fake Gamers Podcast as seen in the I think it's going to be in the title bar for wherever we post this. And yeah,
DM us those nudes.
okay, maybe not those.
Chubby's
Yeah.
Chubby's only, yeah.
I think we'll have to set up a private email for Straw. We're working on getting a Twitter set up. We're working on all that stuff. But let us know if you enjoyed the episode. Leave us a whatever social media platform upvote is that you're wherever you get your podcasts. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, boys and girls.